Welcome to the June 30th meeting of Middleborough Board of Selectmen. We are being taped by Middleborough Community Cable Access Media, and we're being broadcast on Verizon and Comcast. Does any member of the board have anything under unanticipated?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. McKinnon.
I had the pleasure last week of attending the Plymouth County Advisory Board meeting, where several topics were discussed, one of which was the upcoming budget, operating budget for the Plymouth County for the year, also their revenue stream. One of the, I suppose, good notes is they're going to, and there was a lot of discussion about this, they're going to purchase, they're getting a grant, and they're going to purchase a saltwater dredge rather.
Yes.
So there was a lot of questions about that, whether or not this dredge could be used in the fresh water. And as anytime the state gives you a grant, you must watch the T's and I's on it, because that will jam you up. But the consensus is that they would be able to, they have to use the dredge for the 5 months where they would normally be able to dredge in saltwater areas. So there's, I think, 8 communities lining up small jobs for this to take care of. And they do think at some point down the road they'll be able to start using that for clearing out ponds and so forth. But they won't be any, they'll just be buying it this year. They'll get the money, they'll buy it. Now, I've lived down in Weymouth, and I've seen dredges. When they said saltwater dredging, it's for $250,000, I thought, wow, what a deal. They got one of those big, eerie dredges for $250,000? They described it was more like a kind of a sophisticated backhoe, basically. But
Yeah, it's like a sump pump.
yeah,
basically.
yeah, I mean, really, but it would be good for, if we could ever get anything done with the river. They might be able to use that up there, but of course you got to get every permit under the sun. And the permitting would be required by the particular entity that wants to have the dredge come to town. So.
Well, I was actually speaking to one of the commissioners a week or so ago along the similar lines of that, and it might not be a bad idea for the communities that have been affected by the Assawamsa Pond Complex flooding to get together and maybe purchase their own. New Bedford takes that water and sells it, and Taunton does as well. I'm not saying get some revenue streams from the residents, but if they're selling our water to commercial entities, we should be able to get a little piece of that and maybe purchase like a couple, I don't even know how many communities it is in the watershed, but if we all pitch in a little bit, we could get a freshwater dredge. And then we could all use it as well. So that's something I'd like to explore.
Well, one of the questions I asked was, does this dredge know that it's a saltwater dredge only?
I don't.
Seemed like a logical question to me. I don't think the dredge really understands that it can only be used in salt water.
Yeah, but the freshwater might understand when salt water gets pumped into it.
Rinse it
hose
up.
it down?
Hose it down. Come on. All right.
I don't know enough about that stuff to get into it. But.
So I will give this to Jackie, and she can file that away.
All right.
That will be in the selectman's office. It's also online, too, if anybody wanted to read where your Plymouth County money was going. It's online.
Mr. Chair, excuse me, if I may, Steve, does it say where they got the grant? The grant source?
From the state.
Okay.
The Commonwealth.
I can look into that also for a freshwater one.
That'd be great. Does anyone else have anything under unanticipated? I did have one thing. There was an article in the Globe about the medical marijuana dispensaries and the shifting, I guess, of the licenses, and how the 9 that were initially granted have been taken away or repealed, and they're going to grant more licenses, I guess, to different projects, proposed projects, and I had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Shaw about this over the weekend, and I would certainly entertain a motion to write or rewrite, or reiterate a letter of support for the Green Matters proposal here in Middleborough. And I think we should send a copy of that to our state delegation. Let them know that we are in support of this project, and we would like to see something like this move forward in the town of Middleborough.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
Mr. Chairman, we've already done that, so I don't see that as any kind of,
And I do apologize for taking a vote under unanticipated, but this did just come up on Friday, and it is really just a reiteration of something we've already spoken about.
right.
Mr. Shaw, would you like to comment?
Yeah, I think it would really help our situation, as I think the Department of Health doesn't really, I think they're chasing their tails right now, and another letter of support showing, reiterating, as you put it, showing the support of the local community would really help our endeavor.
And one of the things that was brought up and why some of the dispensary licenses were rejected was they said they had letters of support from certain people, and upon investigation, they really didn't. So
Absolutely.
maybe another letter, and to our delegation, letting them know that we are in fact behind this 100% would be appropriate.
I think it would be.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
4 in
Thank you.
favor, 1 against. Thank you, Mr. Shaw.
Thank you.
Does any member of the audience have anything under unanticipated?
Good evening, Jane Cudsey from the Middleborough Office of Economic and Community Development. I'm processing payments to contractors for 2 home repairs that were done in Middleborough for the FY 2013 Fairhaven Middleborough Grant, CDBG block grant. I found out today that the Fairhaven accountant would like to have a signature not only by myself, but also either the board or Charlie. Seeing that Charlie's on vacation, I'm asking that you vote to have Alan sign the approval of the payment of these 2 projects.
So make a motion to authorize the chairman to sign the necessary documentation for the grant.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. You need these right now?
Sure. It's just the top page of
That's it.
2.
All right, we're good.
Better check it. Sometimes forgets the back page.
She said the top page.
Those are the originals. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I apologize.
Huh.
Jackie has the originals, you have copies.
Here we go.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And this is both. Here's the first project.
I knew it wasn't that easy.
That's 3 signatures for 2 documents. He gets $50 a signature.
I wish. Is that why you offered to sign these?
Whatever works.
Actually, Jane, I had an opportunity to meet someone in the construction business who's familiar with your office, John Sari.
Oh, yeah.
He had nothing but high praise for you and your office, so I appreciate that.
Oh, that's
It's always good, and he had no idea that I was on the Board of Selectmen. He was just talking highly of you, so I appreciated hearing that.
very good, thank you.
Yep. Anyone else have anything under unanticipated? We do have one bill from Atlantic Design Engineers for a total of $722.50.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. I'll tell you real quick what this is for: the engineering review of the RPD application for Cumberland Farms at 150 South Main Street, ADE project number 2518.26. Now, this is a bill, we'll pay it, and then we'll get reimbursed by the client, by Cumberland Farms, the petitioner, I guess. All right, so I have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. All right. Let's see. Announcements and recognitions. Ms. Delphi?
Nothing today.
Oh. And any member of the board have anything under announcements and recognitions?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Mr. Knowlton, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to wish everyone an early happy 4th of July and hope that we see everybody out on the parade. I believe the carnival is also setting up down in Pierce Playground, so we're all looking forward to the fireworks in my family. And happy 4th, everyone.
All right. Yeah, the parade starts at 10 a.m. I think the fireworks start about an hour after sunset, about 8:30, 9 o'clock, I believe. 9:05. 10:05. Ooh, so my family's going to be taking long naps. Just as a note, someone had some questions the other day about the carnival and the fireworks and everything, and I spoke with Fran Cassoff, Parks Director, who I anticipate is going to do another fantastic job this year. But the carnival actually pays the town to come here, and then the Parks Department used those funds to pay for the fireworks. So basically, the carnival's paying for the fireworks for us. So it's at this whole thing is at no cost to the taxpayers of Middleborough, and everyone's invited, and it's a great time. So I'll be down there, and I hope you are too. Anyone else have anything under announcements and recognitions? Mr. McKinnon?
Mr. Chairman, last week we had a little problem outside our building here. The mulch caught on fire and the tree caught on fire and started the building on fire, or came close to starting the building on fire. We had fire police, DPW, water, sewer, I guess everybody around, plus the troops from downstairs went out and put the brush fire down, knocked the brush fire down so that we didn't lose our building. So I think a good hearty thanks to all of the people involved in saving the structure from any kind of mortal damage. So I'd like to thank everybody for that.
All right. Yep. It was an interesting afternoon. I stopped by myself, and I don't want this building to burn down while I'm on the Board of Selectmen. I don't want it to burn down anytime, but I certainly don't want to be in charge when that happens.
Mr. Chair, if I may, on that, I was here as well, and I spoke to the custodian here, and he said that it's happened in the past, years in the past. It has never been serious, fortunately, but he asked if it was possible maybe to have stones against the building rather than mulch, because stones won't make the fire travel. I don't know, it might be something we might want to look at.
I certainly don't have any objection to that. I wish people would stop throwing their lit cigarette butts in the mulch, but that's just me. But yeah, maybe we should ask Charlie to look into that when he gets back. I do have an announcement. I want to congratulate 3 teams from the Middleborough Youth Soccer Program for doing fantastic in the state tournament this past weekend. The U12 girls team 2 won their division and played in the playoffs. The U14 girls team advanced to the Final Four of the Coastal Playoffs, and the U12 girls team 1 won the Coastal Championship. I think it was one of the U12 teams came in second after a tie game, an overtime, and then finally a shootout. So it doesn't get any closer than that. And I was on the bottom rung of the soccer program this year with my 4-year-old, and they just do a fantastic job down there. I was more of a sheepdog than anything else, but they really do. It's a fantastic program. And I think the program was actually started by former selectman Al Rulo. So down at the Healy Fields and at the Braga Field over there on Route 28. So congratulations to them. It's a great program. It's a great asset, and it's a fun time to watch those kids playing soccer. So thank you very much for that as well. Does any member of the audience have anything under announcements and recognitions? All right. I would entertain a motion to accept the 6/16/2014 regular meeting minutes.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Abstain?
4 in favor, one abstain, and that passes. I would entertain a motion to authorize the chairman or his designee to sign the warrants for the week ending 6/28/2014 and July 5th, 2014.
So moved.
Second?
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Under new business, entertain a motion to reappoint the following appointments as presented, expiring June 30th, 2014. Anyone?
Do you want to read them first, or do you want them?
I was going to say as presented, but we
Okay,
can read them, I guess.
as presented?
Cable Committee has voted to request the Board of Selectmen to reappoint the following committee members. Robert Denise, 3 years, to expire June 30th, 2017. Paul Laravocic, to expire, for 3 years, to expire on June 30th, 2017. And Maureen Candido, for 3 years, to expire on June 30th, 2017.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. And
We also had the
yep, I'm getting there.
commission for,
I'd entertain a motion to recommend, to reappoint Carolyn Gravelin and Allison Ferrer as members of the Commission on Disability for terms of 3 years.
so, second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. And I would entertain a motion to reappoint Sherry Hartland Neely to the Tourism Committee for a term of 3 years.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
You want to try that again?
I don't think we should have meetings on really beautiful nights like tonight. But that's just me.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so back to Sherry. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, Sherry.
Why aren't we
All right.
professional tonight?
I would entertain a motion to appoint Matt Anderson and Richard McNair as members of the Western Forest Committee to fill 2 vacant positions on that committee.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Knowlton?
I appreciate both of these gentlemen sending in letters of inquiry about this. It's great to see people who are active in the community wanting to step forward and serve. So it was very nice. I appreciate both the letters. It outlined their interests and why they would be a good fit for that committee.
Duly noted. So I have a do I have a motion in a second yet?
Yes, you do.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Get control of it.
You want to take it off?
He lays chair.
Okay.
Kick him every,
He wants me to kick you out.
kick him every now and then.
I can call the police on you, Mr. McKinnon.
Yeah. You want my phone?
Get out of here that way.
So I
Yeah.
have a motion. All right. So,
Number 3.
all right, I would entertain a motion to authorize me to sign the contract with the MMA Consulting Group for the Assessment Center.
So moved.
Second.
All right, this is for the assessment for the position of the police chief. The MMACG, which is the Mass Municipal Association Consulting Group, will conduct an assessment center for the position of police chief in accordance with the acceptable professional standards. The following tasks are to be performed. They're going to discuss the nature of the position with town officials, review local documents regarding the police department, develop assessment center materials and confer with town officials, organize the assessment center, identify assessors, assume 3 to 6 assessors, and review with town officials, And then they will administer the assessment center, provide examination results to the town officials, and video record the assessment center. So that's what we're voting on. That's what they're gonna do for the police chief search. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. I would entertain a motion to authorize the chair to sign the green Middleborough purchase and sales agreement for the Cross Street well site.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. And I would entertain a vote to appoint Michael Berdnasky as the town's designee on the Taunton River Stewardship Council, effective immediately through April 30th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
Mr. Chair, we
Ms.
had the
Delby.
opportunity the last year to work with Mike on the, at the herring run, and many issues along the Nemasket River, and he's been wonderful. I'm glad he's a resident here, and I'm glad that he is stepping up to serve. Thank you.
Now, Mike works for the
Mass Marine Fisheries.
Mass Marine Fisheries as a herring biologist.
Yes.
So he's uniquely qualified to represent Middleborough on this
Oh,
council.
yes. Oh, yes.
Sometimes we just get lucky.
Mhm.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. I would entertain a motion to authorize the Tourism Committee for the use of the Town Hall Annex at 20 Center Street during Crazy Days, which is the first weekend in August. Hi,
Hi,
Sherry.
Sherry Hartland Neely, newly reappointed member of the Tourism
All
Committee.
right, beautiful. You going to talk to us a little bit about this?
I am. I want to tell you what we want to do.
All right.
So, as an official town committee, we're asking the Board of Selectmen to allow us to use the, what the public calls the bank building, or the town hall annex, for 3 days, July 31st through August 2nd, for Crazy Days. Multiple purposes. The first purpose is we want to be able to showcase that building to commercial real estate agents who might have clients who could use that space. Great way to showcase it, show Middleborough Center off and the building itself. The second thing we want to do is we want to set up tourism committee posters and brochures and get the word out about some of the events we're planning for this year. So in 2015, we're planning our second annual Herringman Festival. Yay. But we are also planning for October an Oktoberfest. And
This coming October?
This coming October.
All right.
We are ramping up very quickly. So we're planning an Oktoberfest jack-o'-lantern type of festival at the KOA. And then in December, we're planning a Festival of Lights, similar to like the La Salette Lights and other events. We're doing that at KOA as well, and we've met with them, and they're all in. So those are 2 events coming up this year. One of the other reasons we want to do it is we want to have a place for town departments to put information during Crazy Days. So if the health department has information they need to get out, the parks department has some stuff they want to share, they can bring it to the town hall annex. We can display it, people can pick it up and come in and deal with it. It's also a cooling center, so in August, when it's really hot during Crazy Days, they can come in, cool down, we'll have some bottled water, they can grab a bottle of water, and then move on to the rest of Crazy Days. And finally, it just looks bad when the building is empty during the height of an event on Main Street. It looks bad, so we're going to fill it, we're going to make it look really good, and we're going to showcase it. So that's what we're asking for.
All right, does anyone have any comments or questions?
One question.
Mr. McKinney?
Yep.
Now, you've asked to use the bank building.
Yep.
Town Hall Annex.
Yep,
But are you just using the bank segment of it?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, not the whole three floors, no.
That's what I was-
Yeah, no.
I was
Just-
saying, I wonder what you're
Just the
gonna
former
do.
Eastern Bank portion
Okay.
of the building, yes.
Good.
And, Mr. Chair, if I may, and not the bathrooms or anything, just
No.
it would be a place, like Sherry said, for cooling. And we are actually planning, we've reached out to some of the commercial realtors to have an open house for them one of those evenings. I think it's the best way to get it out there.
Which is why we're asking for the night before, because we're
Right.
thinking the night, Crazy Days is August 1st and 2nd. We're thinking July 31st, we do in the early evening, do the open house for the real estate agents to come in and take a look.
Mr. Chairman, in that respect, Charlie's aware of all this too?
Did we ask Charlie? Actually, no, our meeting happened after he left, and I spoke to Caroline, and she said it would have to go through the Board of Selectmen, so that's why we're here. We, of course, when he comes back, would talk to him about it. We wouldn't just say, oh, by the way, when you show up, we'll be there.
And we'll have plans a little more firmed up by the time he gets back, so we can.
All right.
Yeah.
Just want to get him on board with it
Oh,
too, because he's been more or less honchoing the marketing of that, so.
Right, and I have spoken to him in the past about getting other, having an open house for realtors there, commercial realtors, which is where we have to reach out to at this point, and he was on board with that, so we will pass by him, though, when he returns.
Okay.
Anyone else have any other questions? Sounds good to me. All in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We didn't motion it.
Do we need a motion for that?
You do have a motion.
I thought-
No, she started to talk
I,
before we
when I
motioned.
said we would entertain a motion,
She started to talk, so we.
or we would take a vote.
Well,
All right, I'll entertain a motion for that.
so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. I'm killing you with the minutes, aren't I, Jeff?
Sometimes it takes twice to get it right, you know,
Yeah.
what can we say?
All right, I would entertain a motion to authorize the chairman to sign the earth removal conditions for River Rock Realty at 288 Thompson Street.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
This has all been, everything's been cleared up and,
As long as you do it from the podium, we're good.
thank you.
Thank you.
For the record, Marcus Baptiste with Southbrook Development. When we left here last, there were a number of conditions that we had to satisfy for the earth removal permit. The first one was that there were a few different owners. The ownership had to be put all back into Southbrook Development, one entity. So the first document in your package is the deed transferring Lot 7 back to Southbrook Development. The second document is the trustee's certificate because Lot 7 was in a real estate trust. The third document, we had to do a deed restriction saying that there would be no house construction until the earth removal was complete. This declaration of deed restriction has been approved by town council and has been filed with the Registry of Deeds electronically from Attorney Mather's office. We do not have the book and page back for that yet, but Attorney Mather will forward that to Jackie when he receives it tomorrow. Moving down the package, there's the discharge of real estate attachment. If you remember, there was a attachment on Lot 7. That attachment has been completely removed. The next document is the Conservation and Management Permit, which is the Natural Heritage Permit for the eastern box turtle. That's been signed, and this also has been recorded with the Registry of Deeds. And the last document is the A&R plan, which erased the lot lines for lots 6 and 7, so that it is all one large parcel now, Lot 1A. I believe the only other condition is to provide a performance bond, which Mr. Aruda has with him tonight.
Sounds good to me. Does any member of the board have any questions?
No, I'm gonna just run this. Should this be run by town council, just to make sure everything's squared away?
Yeah, I think he's seen it all.
Okay.
I mean,
know
he signed a couple of the things. That's
he's
what-
seen the, he has seen the, I don't want to misspeak here. He has seen the declaration of deed restriction. The other documents, you know, it's a simple deed transferring it back, which has been accepted by the Register of Deeds already. And the remaining documents have either been, the discharge was done at Suffolk Court in Boston.
Okay.
conservation and management permit was issued by Natural Heritage, and the A&R plan went through the planning board. So all the documents have been reviewed by some other entity.
Okay.
Anyone else have any other questions?
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to thank you for bearing with us and getting everything together and moving forward, and good luck
Thank you.
No. After we vote.
after we vote. I thought we were taking things out of order tonight.
Yeah, I guess we are.
All right, so I would entertain a motion to authorize the chairman to sign the...
So
We
We
did-
have,
we did that, all
yep, we
right.
just need to vote.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thanks. All right. We'll go quick.
Don't go off that fast.
You're next again.
All right, I would entertain a motion to vote to issue a certificate of completion for Chop Shack Cranberries, Inc. Earth Removal Project, 258 Tisquin Street.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Would you like to speak to this? You don't have to if you don't want to.
No, I don't have to say anything.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Mr. Aruda.
Thank you.
All right, 7:30. Hearings, meetings, and licenses. Library trustees will present their report.
Don't all jump up at once.
I thought we were a kind of gentle little board, but apparently we're still a little intimidating.
Intimidating, I guess. Gee.
Good evening.
Good evening.
When Mr. Costello called and asked us to come, the trustees to come, he didn't say anything about presenting a report. He just said, you may have some questions. So we're here to answer your questions.
All right, who are you and what do you do?
All right, I'll just take over. My name's Jim Okalita. I am the current chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Middleborough Public Library. What do? I run the trustees. We're basically, I think the easiest way to say it is we're responsible for the overall, establishment of policy. We don't do the day-to-day. So in a nutshell, that's our calling. We try to do the best we can with the budgets that we're given. If there's ever an issue with, maybe a borrower is upset at one of the books that happens to be on the shelves, although in the however many years I've been on the board, that's never happened, but we would do stuff like that. So we're kind of like the overseer of the library.
How's it going?
It's going well, I think. The library is doing well. We finally got our parking lot now. It's always full. So we're doing all right.
All right. Does any member of the board have any questions? Mr. McKinnon?
Do you have any openings on your,
Yes, we do. We currently have one opening on the board. It's been open for about a month, and we're just entertaining, asking people to kind of just submit a letter of why they want to do it.
do you have letters of interest coming in?
I think we have one, but it's from somebody in the past, so we're kind of hoping to get a few more. But
Okay.
The summer's kind of a slow time, so we're not in a huge hurry. We like to, but probably in the next month or so we'll have to make that decision.
Right.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Knowlton?
Jim, how often do you guys meet and where do you meet?
We meet once a month, unless there happens to be some kind of a emergency. We haven't luckily had to have that. A few years ago, when the budgets were really tight and there was a lot of crunch time going, we had a couple emergency type meetings, but usually it's just once a month, and a couple hours at the most.
Those are Monday nights?
Monday nights,
And upstairs at the library?
and in the Board of Trustees room.
And is the public able to attend if they so wish?
They are all open. They're, we post them, and it's rare, but we do get a guest every now and then. Yeah. So yes, you're more than welcome.
Right. I realize the parking lot is not technically under your authority,
Correct.
but do you have any information on how the landscaping's going there?
We are currently working on.
Could you come up to the mic?
Oh.
Keith McDonald. We're currently working on, we've got to excavate the material around it. When the parking lot was built, shall we say that the gravel pack is great for a parking lot, but not the best material to support landscaping. So we're making contacts with local vendors to get that material removed, get it down to a proper depth, then we can come back with loam base. Right now, with the heat of the season, we're probably going to wait till mid to late August to plant. That way we're going into a no weed season, a little bit more favorable weeds or rain, and we'll be pretty well buttoned up, I would say, by the end of September, early October. So that's the plan right now. So my concern, and again, I think the board is made up of a very eclectic group. We all bring something to that table and what we do, what our backgrounds are, and watching over the building. So my background, I got the parking lot. So, and we also have our day jobs as everybody else does. So you wait for the proper timing and get things in line. But that's where we are with it.
Excellent.
Okay.
And could someone just go over the summer hours for everyone one more time so everybody knows there's a change of...
So the difference in our summer hours is that we're closed on Sunday. So we're still open Monday through Thursday from 10 to 8 and Saturday from 9 to 3. And yes, we will be open this Saturday, the 5th. We actually have a special event tomorrow night upstairs here in the auditorium. That's our summer reading kickoff. It's appropriate for all ages, so bring young and old. 6:30 upstairs, and it's going to be, it's called Science in Motion. It's actually a comic mime who will do science via mime, so it sounds intriguing. And we have lots and lots of activities, so everything's posted on the website. We have something going on for all ages at the library, so that's our little plug.
Mr. McKinney?
And while I'm up, I'll just introduce the other members of the board that are here. You've already met Sherry Hartland-Neely, she's already been up. Mariana Abram, Ellie Osborne, Keith McDonald, Nancy Okers. And so any other questions?
I don't know, I'll throw this out here. Somebody had approached me with the thought of, as far as landscaping goes, trying to get some of our landscaping companies to do some work, with the payment being they get to put a signpost in there that says this was donated by XYZ landscaping company. I don't know if this violates 1,400 different laws or not, but I think it's working out down in our sister town, Lakeville. They seem to have that going on in some places. I don't know whether this...
Well, again, because it's actually owned by the Friends of the Library, yes, we can do that. And if anybody wants to, we've certainly put out some feelers to our local landscaping companies, but if there's anybody out there who hasn't heard from us and they want to help out, just contact me and we will funnel it through to the committee.
A lot of the phases were donated work of some sort.
Right.
So, yeah, the landscaping is definitely being looked at.
Okay.
Good. Any other questions? How's your AC working?
It's working.
All right.
It's working.
Didn't we approve
Well,
funding for new
last year
compressors?
there was an approval for a new compressor, but after some other contacts, it was decided that it wasn't actually the compressor that was the problem, so we didn't spend that money. And I've been in touch with the Capital Planning Committee, talking about things like that. So yes, it's working. And you know, we can be a cooling center on the really hot days. This year we'll be doing carpeting in the children's room, and that was approved, and that will definitely happen because that carpeting does need to go.
All right. Any member of the audience have anything to add? Any questions? Nothing? All right. Well, thank you very much for stopping by. We appreciate it. We always, if there's any, is there anything we can do to help you?
More money.
Yeah.
So
You had to ask.
First time we've heard that.
No, just, you know, come and participate.
All right.
That's what we'd like to see.
All right, 7:40. The Housing Authority.
Hi, Joe Ruthwitz from the Housing Authority. Yeah, I didn't know exactly what you were looking for, so I'm going to do a little bit of background and then exactly what we do. So after World War II, the state enacted legislation to establish housing authorities across the state. And in 1948, town meeting voted to establish the Housing Authority. 1949, we built our first development for veterans, and that is now considered family housing. It was named for Lieutenant Thomas Archer, who was the first resident from town who passed away in the war. Since then, we've built 3 elderly housing. We were, I think, the very first in the state to build elderly housing. And we have a total of 190 units. 28 are family, 154 are elderly units, and 8 are congregate special needs. We are funded entirely by the state and federal funds with some extra money from grants that we apply for. We have a 5-member board of commissioners. 4 are elected. 1 is appointed by the governor. Arlene Dickens is our chairman. She's been on the board for almost 40 years. Roger Clark is the vice chairman. Buddy Chilcott and Nancy Thomas are the other 2 elected the other 2 elected members, and Tom White is appointed by the governor. I'm the director, and I'm hired by the board to oversee the day-to-day operations. They essentially make policy, establish budgets, and oversee that type of thing. We also have 3 additional office staff and 3 maintenance guys to take care of 190 apartments. We do work very closely with all the town departments, but especially the community development office. We do a lot of the same type of thing. And Jane and I have worked on probably over $1 million worth of grants in the last couple of years we've got to basically renovate the housing authority properties, but she got admin money to keep the office open. So that was good. We've worked with the town on 40B lotteries, and you asked about how often they meet. So we meet once a month, usually the 3rd Wednesday of the month, 6:30 at the Housing Authority office, 8 Benton Street. It is open to the public. Office hours are 9 to 3, Monday through Friday for the public to come in. We're there more than that. And we're closed on Wednesday so we can get paperwork done. So that's the background. What we actually do is subsidize rental units. We provide either housing or vouchers for applicants. If they live and work in Middleborough, they get a preference, so they go to the top of the list. People from outside of the town, they go behind the Middleborough residents. If you're a veteran, you come to the top of the list also. You have to meet income guidelines, and for a single person, most of our units are elderly. If you make under 43.7, you qualify. And a family of 4, 62.4, you qualify. A lot of people think that this is for people who have no income. What we say, this is low income, not no income. So we try to help people help themselves, and it's a stepping stone. Rent is, including utilities, is for the most part 30% of your gross income. There are some deductions, but the easiest way is to say your income. That is all income. Some people feel that because they don't have to pay taxes on Social Security, that's not income. That's not the case. It's income coming into the house, and we use that to determine what you make for rental payments. And that includes the vouchers also, so not just payments to us, to the landlords, private rental landlords also. All applicants have to pass Corey. A difference from private rentals is you don't pay first, last, and security. You just pay your rent. I think that's basic in a nutshell. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Knowlton?
are you looking for any members, or you're all
We're full.
full? Okay.
All right, well, is there anything we can do to help you? More money? All right, so no.
Beyond more money,
Yeah, we all want more money. The only other thing is the regionalization that is being discussed by the governor, and you did support us with a letter to the legislators. We've received a draft copy of the proposed legislation. We don't really know exactly what they're talking about yet because it still is a draft, but they are saying if you have less than 500 units, there's going to be some kind of, we'll call it collaboration between other small housing authorities with one larger housing authority.
How many units do we have?
Total state units are 195. Including our federal units, it's 354. So we're not near, but like Taunton has a lot of units, but they have around 300 state units, so they're in the same boat as us. It's only the very large housing authorities. I'm guessing Brockton, but I'm not sure. And one of the things we're trying to do is to get it lower, maybe to like 250, because what I'm hearing, there's only about 20 housing authorities in the state. There's 242 housing authorities. There's only about 20 that have more than 500 state units. So we're all going to be... So instead of having 3 guys managing 190 units, you're going to have 1 guy handling 2,500 units. So that should be fun.
Yeah, what could possibly go on with that scenario? How close are we to satisfying the 40B requirement? What is it, 10%?
10%. No, we're nowhere near. We're about 5. I think it's a little bit less than 5, 4.83, something like that. I know there are a bunch of 40B projects on the burner. I don't know if they've all, or any of them, got to ZBA yet. But that's more the Affordable Housing Committee than the Housing Authority. Everything in the Housing Authority portfolio is considered affordable housing and counted in the 40B.
All right.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. McKinnon?
Relative to that draft proposal for regionalization of these housing authorities, will you keep the board posted as to the movement of this? Because I don't want Brockton to be telling us how to run our authority, and I don't want them taking our maintenance people up to Brockton and keeping them up there.
No,
We have our own, you got more than enough work for your own troops.
Yeah.
You don't need them disappearing. So I don't want to see our assets getting diluted.
And one of the big issues that I have discussed with Senator Pacheco is the fact that the town, the property on Frank Street, Park Street, that was originally the town barn. Back in the 50s, the town gave it to the Housing Authority, so that's the town property that was given to the Housing Authority to build the first elderly development. The town's a stakeholder in this. As far as I'm concerned, you were very generous in giving it to the Housing Authority, and if it is sold by a private or a public entity, they're the ones that are going to benefit, and not the residents here.
Right. So
Absolutely.
you keep your eyeball on this, and
I-
as things change,
I
let us know so
have.
that we can get letters. We have 3 representatives and a senator for this town.
Yeah, all the
So
representatives are well aware.
we'll keep them posted.
Yep, and I have had several conversations with Charlie about it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay?
That's all for me.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, Town managers report.
No?
Who wants to, anybody want to talk about anything? We have the synopsis of the fire incident. I think we covered that. Sign approvals. We have town manager's office approved the sign for the farmer's market. That was on town hall. We're gonna put a sign there now to tell everybody that it's over at Oliver Mill Park. You can have a sign on the lawn that talks about the Royal Lipizzan Stallion Show, July 25th through 27th at East Middleborough 4-H Club. And we got a grant. Massachusetts Civil War Sequicentennial, I don't even know what that means, Commission for FY14 Preservation Grant Program, $1,637.50 for the preservation of Civil War records. So that's good. And correspondence.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Knowlton.
before we get off of the town manager's report, do we have any information on how the new location for the farmer's market is going?
I wasn't there this Saturday, but I was there, I think, last Saturday, and it seemed like it was working pretty well. Everybody there seemed very happy as far as the vendors were concerned. I had a nice conversation with Ms. Blair, and she was very pleased with it, pleased with the crowds, pleased with the vendors, and it seems to be going well.
Good.
If you haven't been there, I'd recommend running down there and seeing what you can talk about.
Good. I managed to get to the first week, but haven't been there since. I just wanted to know. Thank you.
There's something we can help you with?
Oh, yes. Mr. Chairman, I thank you. My name is Brian Giovanni. Fortunately, I worked 13 hours today.
Do you want to take a second? We'll go over some
No, I'm
things.
a little upset about a vote that was taken regarding something that wasn't on the agenda that's a substantive item regarding marijuana. And a vote was taken tonight.
Yes, it was. It was under unanticipated because the change that prompted the vote came out on Friday, and there was no way possible that we could post that on the agenda. It came out after the agenda was posted. The vote was to reiterate a vote that was previously taken. There was no change in any stance whatsoever by the Board of Selectmen. I am perfectly comfortable with taking that vote. I believe the rest of the board is as well. If they're not, please speak now.
I have no problem, but we didn't change anything. We
It was just to send a letter back?
We reiterated
We already
something.
have sent that letter out.
Okay.
That letter of support was already sent. Last time this was all brought up, which was, well, no, November or December?
A while ago.
Quite a while ago. And in fact, I was chair at the time. And
I
changed
understand.
my
I
stance.
just thought it was very interesting that an item like this, which is pretty big and something that's worth discussing, wasn't on the agenda. And because I read the agenda and I was like, I got to get to this meeting. And I said, no, it's a light agenda. I'm going to miss it. And then all of a sudden, this is going on. I'm like, I got to get out here and get down there. I'm like, and I calmed down a little bit when I did it. But I was a little bit taken aback that it would be something that would be voted on without it being on the agenda.
Did you hear the discussion we had about the vote?
No, I was actually trying to get some dinner down when it was going on. And all of a sudden I heard it, I'm like,
The article came out on Friday, after the agenda was posted. It was regarding a subject that we had already discussed at length. We had already I asked to reiterate a letter of support that we had already written. The board voted to reiterate a letter. We haven't done anything new, we're just sending the letter again. That we've already voted, we've already discussed. I apologize.
no, that's fine.
That it came under unanticipated, but it was prompted by, like I said, the article that came out Friday afternoon, after the agenda was posted.
Okay.
That's why. I'm very sensitive to the nature of
I
taking
understand,
a
that's
vote.
why I was wondering, because I saw it was amended. The agenda had been amended once before, so it was an amended agenda to start with.
Nobody knew I was bringing this up until I brought it up,
Okay.
except Mr. Shaw, who I had spoken to.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Knowlton.
I echo Mr. Giovanni's concerns.
I really
There's
wish you would have
been-
echoed them when we were discussing.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, there has been a substantial amount of time between the first letter and the second one, which would seem to warrant discussion. There has been more information that has come out about the whole process. I would agree that I think Mr. Giovanni has a point there.
I don't agree, but I'm only one member of the board.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. McKinnon.
That would be me, McKinnon, yeah. When I was chair, my initial thoughts were against this. I didn't like it. Then I spoke to the issue. It's difficult to change, it's difficult for me to change my mind on something. And this was an issue that's not easy to change my mind on. But I had to look at something else beyond me, beyond my own issues, my own problems. I had to look at the sick and suffering, which this is supposed to help. And if that can help somebody, then, you know, that's what swayed me was more the person who is suffering. Other people are still going to do stupid things, and we can't possibly change that. A person makes a decision, they make their decision, they make their choice of what they're going to do. But somebody who's got a catastrophic illness, their choices are limited. And sometimes those limitations are pretty nasty. You know, I've seen some of that stuff, and I didn't like it. So, this vote tonight, to me, is nothing more than the vote we took before to send a letter of support for this entity to show that the town, with the same parameters, there'll be a donation to the town, which we can use to support police activity. That was, I think, what was talked about last time. This vote doesn't change anything. This just reiterates, as the chairman said. I'm not worried about it. The flaws in the process are not the doing of this board, this town. It's the doing of the state and their system. One of the people who initially got three, not one, but three of these licenses was a little bit politically connected, shall we say. And the people who weren't politically connected were obviously cast aside. So the flaws in this process are not at the town level. Certainly not at our level. The flaws in this process are at the state level, as the state usually runs every program as an abysmal pocket-grabbing operation. Excuse my politicizing of the situation. However, this particular vote, I feel very confident in this for the reasons I stated, that this will help somebody who's really hurting and whose only other option is, well, debilitating drugs. I'd rather see somebody comfortable than delirious. And there's been enough people, and I know everybody, well, I don't know everybody in this room has been touched by this, but I'm certain there's a lot of people, you know this could have helped people. Yeah, I don't like the substance, but beyond that, it's the bad piece you have to live with the good piece. So, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, for my dissertation, but basically, the level of, the support of the letter is nothing other than what we've already done once. That's my opinion. Thank you.
I would rather not have a discussion about the goods and bads, the ups and downs of medical marijuana dispensaries, because that discussion has been had.
Right.
And I thought we had a vote on it if there's a question on the procedure of taking a vote to reiterate a letter, then that's a discussion maybe we should have. I'm perfectly comfortable with making that motion and taking that vote. If someone else wants to make a motion to rescind that vote, go right ahead. This is a 5-person board, and that's how we work. So is everyone comfortable with the vote that we took?
I am.
I'm not comfortable with it, but I don't see a point for rescinding. I don't think this letter is going to do any, or have any effect one way or another with what's happening with the marijuana dispensaries throughout the state. I'm just curious about the timing, having both of them come here. Were they under some kind of deadline that this could not have been put on the next agenda?
In 2 weeks, if they reconsider, it was my idea to bring it up.
Were they under some kind of deadline that they needed a letter of support?
I asked them if they would,
So they were not under a deadline.
no.
So we could have waited 2 weeks.
Well, we actually
To
don't.
what end?
To make sure we didn't have a violation of any open meeting law.
The sooner the better, in my eyes.
They were not asking for, they were not operating under some
They asked-
deadline.
They asked me if we could, they said sooner the better, the sooner the better.
You're
I don't
asking
see-
if I'm comfortable, I'm not.
All right, just to everyone on the board, if you're not comfortable with something, when we're discussing it, that's the time to talk about it and to bring it up. After the fact doesn't do anybody any good. I have no qualms about having a discussion about anything.
All right, well,
But-
a little heads up. I mean, again,
was
we knew
under
about it.
unanticipated.
We knew about it 30 seconds before you brought it up.
It was
That doesn't give us a lot
Because
of,
it was unanticipated.
that doesn't give us a lot of time to consider it and think it through.
All right, but that's why it's under unanticipated. I
Yeah.
can't discuss it with you beforehand.
I don't see why you couldn't have.
That would be a violation of open meeting law.
And then we could say, let's put it on the agenda.
It's not even a discussion of the subject. Because we've already voted on it. In my eyes, it's not a discussion of the subject. It's a vote to reiterate.
Again, I'm not comfortable with the process, how it went.
In the future, if anyone's uncomfortable with something that I'm doing, again, I would ask that we talk about it while we do it, not afterwards. Ms. Lopes?
Hi, Jane Lopes, the Gazette. I think there's some confusion about the open meeting law, the new open meeting law. It's not supposed to hamstring boards. It's not supposed to prevent boards from dealing with issues. It says that you are to list on the agenda anything that you can reasonably expect would come before you during that meeting. It doesn't say you can't consider anything or take any votes on items that aren't on the agenda. If something important comes up, it's still being discussed in an open public meeting there, and you gave the public notice that there would be a meeting tonight. And it's televised and et cetera, and there will be minutes from it. If somebody's aggrieved, they can come to a future meeting, but I just think there's a lot of confusion about this open meeting law provision and what it does and doesn't do.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to say anything about this from the public or from the board?
The one issue, Mr. Chair, was, I believe that is a substantive item, which is the one thing that Ms. Lopes left out. If this happened on Friday, as you say, and you talked with them on Friday, it's something that has been sitting Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I understand Saturday and Sunday are not regular business hours, but it's a substantive item. In fact, one of your members just said they had 30 seconds notice on something. The open meeting law.
That's not entirely true.
Well, okay, so, I'm sorry, what I was saying is, if the item came up under unanticipated because nobody knew about it but yourself, and it's a substantive item, it absolutely should be something that should be on the agenda, whether or not it was voted on prior to. And the idea of the agenda is to never spring something, especially on the board members, because the chair does set the agenda. So if the chair sets the agenda and the members of the board don't know something of a substantive nature, it should be on it. As far as the vote, I understand how the vote went, and that's fine. I understand how the vote would go in 2 weeks from now. It would go the exact same way. I don't think there'd be anything that would come up. I think more or less it was it wasn't on the agenda, and that was the concern that I had, because I literally looked at it, and it was a light agenda. The only thing was, I think, cranberry grower, Choctaw, was finished up, which was great. But other than that, when I looked at it, I was like, no, there's nothing I can actually go home and have a dinner. So that was the concern that I had. It was substantial enough that I believe, even though it was just reiterating, that I think that something like that should be on the agenda, so people might give, you never know, maybe the chief of police may have something new to say on the situation. Since the last time this letter was sent, maybe something has changed. Maybe the chief wants to say, no, I don't want the money, no, I don't want something going on like that in my community. I don't know.
Ask the chief if he wants money. We don't, it's not up to him. He gave us his opinion, we listened to it. I think the difference you and I have right now is what the definition of substantial is. I don't think a reiteration of a vote is a substantial change in any way, shape, or form. You seem to disagree with that, and that is fine. I appreciate you rushing down here, I've done the same thing. But like I said, I'm perfectly comfortable with this vote. It's a reiteration of a vote that we've already taken and discussed at length.
Thank you.
Would anyone else like to say anything on the subject? Or any subject at that point? All right. Where were we? Town manager's report. No, we're on correspondence. We just started correspondence. Mr. Knowlton, would you like to go first?
Sure. I believe there are a couple of job postings, and it has been our habit to read them. So, number 3, there is a job vacancy at the Council on Aging, a program assistant, adult supportive day program. And under the supervision of the program director of the adult supportive day program, or in her absence, the activity planner, assumes responsibility for carrying out a variety of duties designed to assist participants in the social day program to make the best possible use of services which are available. The posting closes on July 8th, and the person you need to contact would be on here somewhere. I don't see the person. I would assume you contact the Council on Aging then, directly.
Andrea Priest at the Council on Aging, I believe.
Okay. And number 4, no, not number 4, I'm sorry, number 7. Staff member is not returning from the Family Medical Leave Act, which opens up a 20-hour position at the COA. Is this the same position?
No, different.
Different. Okay.
This is the receptionist dispatcher position.
This would be a, let's see, part-time receptionist dispatcher. The work hours are 12:30 to 4:30 in the afternoon, 20 hours a week. And again, I would say contact Andrea Priest. Serves as dispatcher, scheduling transportation, and supervising drivers in the performance of their duty. And I believe there's one more posting. Yes, number 8 for MCAM. We'll get to that one. Part-time video production tech has varied responsibilities within this busy municipal department. The ideal candidate will enjoy working with others, be a skilled teacher of field and studio production, and have excellent organizational and leadership skills. Submit resumes by July 18, 2014 to the Middleborough Permanent Cable Committee 10 Nickerson Ave, or you can email to kfoy@mccam02346.com. And then I just wanted to mention number 19. The Taunton River Watershed Alliance is having a family fishing event at Dighton Rock State Park on Sunday, July 13. Looks like it'd be a lot of fun. Angler Education Day. You're invited for a fun-filled family fishing event on the shores of the wild and scenic Taunton River in Dighton. The afternoon will feature instruction on fishing techniques by Jim Lagacy, Angler Education Director of the Massachusetts Division of Fisheries and Wildlife. Signing the river will collect and identify aquatic creatures who call the Taunton River home. This event is free of charge and everyone is welcome. Dighton Rock State Park is located on Bayview Avenue in Berkeley. Bring a bag lunch, beverages will be provided. That would be
Did they
it.
say if you need a fishing license on that day?
They did not. I'm going to assume you probably do.
Catch stripers up there too.
It's salt water, isn't it?
Brackish at that point, but there's stripers right there, schoolies.
Do you need a, you don't need a fishing license
I
for
still don't know
saltwater.
if you need if it's a freshwater or a saltwater fishing license for brackish water.
But it's a saltwater fish, right? I mean, it's
Yeah,
like
it might- it's an
saltwater
andromeda
dredge, you know? I mean, hey, come on.
I honestly, I've thought about that for years, and I've never gotten a good answer.
Because you thought about it.
Right.
There you go.
Is that it, Mr. Knowlton?
That is it.
Ms. Stewart, do you have anything?
Just wanted to call attention to a letter that was copied to the board from our conservation agent, Tricia Cassidy. There was a property in our town that was potentially in violation of the Wetlands Protection Act, and Ms. Cassidy had sent the property owners a letter. They were very cooperative in removing, the material that was in the 25-foot zone, and it got all cleared up. So I just wanted to thank not only the property owners, but also Ms. Cassidy for helping with that.
Beautiful. Mr. McKinnon?
I actually think I have anything tonight.
Ms. Delpy?
Just one thing, actually two, but the first one is the online training for municipal employees is now available through the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds. This is not something you take online. You go and you learn how to navigate through their system, which has been enhanced. It's over at their main location at 50 Aubrey Street in Plymouth. And it is free to municipal employees, and it occurs the first Thursday of each month except for July and August, and it will run from 9 to 11:30 a.m. And if you are interested, you can contact Lorna, come on, Lorna Green Baker at 508-830-9290. Having tried to look up deeds and records myself, this would be an awesome opportunity if you ever have to come across this in your work. It is open to the public as well and real estate professionals, and you call that same number, Lorna Green, and that is at 508-830-9290. And that was number 14 on the list. And number 1 on the list, I just wanted to emphasize that we've been invited down to the Centennial for the canal. I'm going to have a presence there for Middleborough Tourism as well, pushing out our information. And they've been a great partner at the canal, the visitor center down there, regionalizing and marketing the entire area. So go on down. They're going to have, this is for the July 29th events, but there will be events there all summer celebrating their 100th centennial anniversary for the Cape Cod Canal. That's it.
I've heard great things about what they're planning this summer down there. It's supposed to be, the fireworks are supposed to be fantastic.
Yep. It's a good place to learn.
Yep, everything I was going to talk about has been covered, so with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Hello.